a chance to fight back Michael's seemingly overwhelming power. Jordan, do you want to talk a little bit about what these mean? And I know we are intentionally keeping a lot of this secret until launch, just as a heads up. If you want more info ahead of launch, we're not really going to give it to you. But what can we talk about today when it comes to these mysterious items?
These are something that we're not giving a lot of info on because they're, like you'd said, they're purposefully something we want people to explore and discover. They're rare, and they're things that will appear in the loot pool and do things that might affect Michael a little bit more than a regular household item. It's just something that we want people to discover and find out about, because there's moments and instances where these may save you and your friends from imminent death, and we wanted to make sure those opportunities existed beyond just what you're fully capable of doing with all the other items. So it throws a little bit of an extra wrench in Michael's gears, and we were excited for people to explore what these do.
Yeah, when it comes to our randomized loot pools, I think items like this kind of really incentivize you to check every nook and cranny, because there is a chance you can get an item like this, and an item like this could literally be the difference between life and death in the game. So super excited about that. Next up, we have our community Q&A. But before we dive into all of that, I do want to take a quick second to just touch on some pre-order information, recap the different editions, and touch on some frequently asked questions about the different versions. So let's dive into that real quick. Halloween the Game is launching on September 8th, 2026 on Xbox Series X and S, PS5, Steam, and Epic Game Store. Pre-orders for the digital edition are available now. If you pre-order the standard edition of the game, you get that awesome animated Phantom Michael Myers skin. We also have a digital deluxe edition available, which gets you that Phantom Michael Myers skin, the inmate Michael Myers skin, and Richard and Alexis. So some things I do want to touch on when it comes to the digital deluxe edition. There will be an upgrade available at launch as well. The items such as inmate, Richard, and Alexis are exclusive to that version. So you will either need to pre-order the digital deluxe edition or buy the digital deluxe edition at launch to get those characters. Phantom Michael Myers is a digital pre-order exclusive. Just wanted to reiterate that and confirm that that will not be available post-launch. And that is a digital pre-order exclusive. So that's not something that is going to be available post-launch. That is an incentive and a reward for the people supporting the game on day one. We also have, more recently we announced, arguably for some people who want to play this game as soon as possible, the most important part of the Digital Deluxe Edition upgrade is early access to the game starting on September 4th at 9 a.m. Next up, we have some physical editions. Last week, we unveiled our physical editions for Halloween the Game that will be coming a little bit later in the year. They're launching on October 6th, 2026, and that's going to be on PS5 and Xbox Series X. That includes a game poster, that includes the game disc, and it includes advanced access to the Michael Myers clown skin and 2 civilian cosmetics. Just to clarify on the advanced access and what that means, that essentially means you get instant access to these skins. Players who do not purchase this can still earn those skins in-game by completing challenges. And we also have a limited collector's edition. And I will emphasize the limited portion of this because, as we've seen from the conversations online, yes, people have been very excited about this. And this includes everything you see on the screen here: the game disc, a collector's box, the shape jump figure, some posters, advanced access to a few other skins. When it comes to availability on this, it is limited, so you'll need to kind of check retailer availability on that front. But again, I will reiterate again that it is very limited. So just a heads up there. All right, Jordan, the community Q&A of our developer Q&A stream has finally come. So a few weeks ago, we put out a call to the community to get all your burning questions about this game. And we put out a thread on Reddit. We got some questions from socials, and we had hundreds of responses. So huge shout out to everyone who dropped those questions. There were a lot to kind of go through. Previous sections of the stream, we feel, touched on a lot of those questions, but at the end here, we did want to touch on some other burning questions from the community. So let's get into it. First question from Pat My Kitty X. Will we get a Discord server? And yes, we are launching the Halloween the Game official Discord server on July 22nd. So keep your eyes on our socials for the official announcement there and a link to join that Discord. Next up, can we expect a content roadmap at launch, asks Haunt Knight. So right now we are focused on kind of stressing and showcasing what is available in this game on day one. Jordan has touched on in previous interviews, and we've mentioned that, yes, we do have a very exciting slate of content planned for after launch, but we are not going to be discussing that until a little bit later and closer to launch. So appreciate that. We will have more details to share in the future. Importance No 1608 asks, will there be a beta? Unfortunately, no. We do not have plans for a beta at this time. All right, Jordan. We have a question here from Acceptable Wear 4340 that says, how important is maintaining continuity going to be with future cosmetics in terms of style and tone?
You want me to answer this one? Is that what you meant by that?
I can take it if you want.
No, I got it. It just had your logo, your name next to the thing. Anyway, to not distract for too much longer, I kind of mentioned it before, but there needs to be, strike a really good balance between the period accuracy, franchise authenticity, and making sure we're leaning into player expression. We want people to be, very excited about any of the cosmetics we have, and that's a big part of making cosmetics for games. So that's where we're gonna go with.
Absolutely. That's the ultimate goal, is making people excited about how they look in the game. Plenty Photograph 4 asks, will the face of Michael Myers on the inmate outfit be blurry like the pre-order images, or are you guys waiting to reveal what his face will look like? The face of Michael Myers will remain blurred throughout the story mode and when you use that skin in multiplayer. So you're not going to see his face. That is representative of what it's going to look like in game. Jordan, Zach Rods asks, what kind of play style are you hoping to make the game for? Casual or competitive, or a mix of both?
What a great question. There's a long, lengthy answer to this. I'll try not to yap too much about it. But
go ahead and yap. It's fine.
Ultimately, I think the focus and the approach is casual. Like, there's something to what this game is on the form of a social and matchmaking experiences around interacting with other people, having fun, like having those encounters. But we also want to make sure that we're balancing and making all of our gameplay fit for people that want to sweat and like have those moments where they go back and forth. But we don't want that intruding into and building a situation where people that are just trying to enjoy the game are getting completely overshadowed by people that really have a lot of different pieces of knowledge of the game, as well as just stacking in certain directions. That's why I kind of mentioned the perks being a bit more casualized in our approach, is we didn't want to create a situation that was fully reliant on people's decision making
Come on.
process to build these very specific things, more so giving them the tools to play the game and find those variations and nuance, So it's much more about a casualized experience that leans into the horror, that leans into the jump scares, leans into the matches unfolding in fun and interesting ways, and then also having just a robust approach to every feature we have that allows the more competitive people to find those little nuances of killer skill and civilian skill, so that they can have those moments they can only survive based on the fact that they've built up those skills for. So it's a blend, but I'm gonna say we're leaning more casual, and I wanna preface as well that like we're watching everything. Like we will never hope to garner and gain the sample size needed to do anything huge right now, but the second it's out there in the wild and people are playing and there's more just minds at work, discovering all the possible combinations of gameplay, we're never gonna really be able to hit that until the game is out there, and from there it's about analyzing what's happening, understanding the issues, understanding anything that we need to balance back into place to kind of fit what I've been talking about, but also reading the community feedback. There's a period of marination time that happens for any kind of multiplayer games update or launch that you need to be very careful about not going too quickly into it, because some of it is learning the game, learning the maps, learning the routes that you take and the locations that you go to collect loot, and until that's fully kind of in a general state for the population, you're not getting a real accurate representation of the balance. So excuse me, we're going to be watching closely. We're going to be making adjustments accordingly, and we're going to be keeping all feedback in mind as we do so. And I want to make sure any updates that we do make in the future, off of this kind of initial balance pass and what we release, is very much transparent as to why we're making the choices, because there's so many. Sorry, I've been talking a lot, so throat's not being kind to me, but there's so many different choices to make, and we want to make sure that as we're making those, it makes sense, it has a reason, it's doing something that's bringing us back to the core of what we're trying to accomplish. So it's a very in-depth and nuanced thing, and the reason I'm saying these things is because the people that really care, I want you to know that we're ready to react, and we've built a better infrastructure than any that we've had in the past for getting updates out and making sure that we're addressing things. We also have on Miles' side a much more robust community interaction process and gathering of stats and things that really help us as we're making those decisions, including all the back end data gathering and charts and all the boring data things that give us a sense of where things are at. Don't want to fully rely on those because this is video games and it's about there is some feel here. So there's a lot going on here, and I apologize for going long on this, but it's very important, including kind of what we'll talk about in this next question as well.
Yeah, no, it's very important, and we had a lot of conversations very early on in this project about that foundation and how do we build a foundation that allows us to implement and adjust based on player feedback, based on how we feel. I don't want to say more rapidly because, as you touched on, we want to give appropriate time to these decisions and make sure these decisions are the right decisions for the game. But that foundation for us is so much stronger, and I think that's going to make the kind of relationship between how we update and message much more streamlined this time around. So we're all very excited about getting this out in the wild and having those conversations with the community.
Yep, exactly.
And the next question, this is a big one. This is a big one in this
Got you
genre.
after last time.
Oh yeah, you got some yapping to do, mister. All right, this comes from Death Cube K318. How do you plan to combat the threat of bully squads in this game? Bully squads, Jordan. People love them.
Yeah.
How are we stopping them? How are we
They're
shutting them down?
you know it's a fun one because this the challenging part about building a sandbox is like there's not a wrong way to play it. Like you can't tell people, especially people that are playing online, no, you can't play this way. It's all got to work. So I took this one on myself very early on as we were designing the combat systems, as we were designing the character status effect systems and ability systems. There's an emphasis on understanding the like solidity and the pacing, as well as the countermeasures that we need to be able to have in place, uh, to be able to give the players the opportunity to go all out and not restrict them from doing anything, but allowing Michael to rise to the occasion, quite literally in some circumstances. But the bullying thing is there's just it's an unavoidable thing, but through our general infrastructure that we built of the game itself, the design
What
practices
up,
we
though,
put in
little
place around
Biz?
the game
Appreciate
mode
you pulling up.
itself,